Good afternoon, everybody. Christian here. Today I have a prophetic word to share with you that came to me in the form of a prophetic dream that I had roughly a month ago-ish, okay? It is important when you're giving the prophetic word that you give it as you received it. You don't add to or take away. In this particular case, I don't have understanding of its meaning, not much. So I'm going to tell you the dream exactly as I had it to the best of my memory. And then I might give you some little details that I can see. But by and large, I don't have the interpretation. So I'm just going to leave it out there. And then if you see something, the Holy Spirit reveals something to you about the dream, feel free to write it in the comment section. I would love to read your insights on it. So let me give you this dream. First thing I see is that I am walking, and I'm seeing it through my own eyes, and I'm walking on the ground, and the ground is college ground. That's all I can say. It's just, I just have a knowledge that I'm on college ground. And there are two men walking a few paces ahead of me, like they are friendly. They're together. And one of them is showing the other one something in video format. I don't know if it's a YouTube video or what, but he's showing him something as they're walking outside. So it's obviously like a phone or something that they're looking at to see this video. And I can't see the video. Like I said, I'm a few paces behind these individuals, and I don't know who these individuals are in the dream. But I can hear what's being said by these two individuals, and I can hear what's on the video. And what I hear from the video is very interesting. It is a group of people, a large group of people have gathered together, and they are all chanting the same thing. And it is very loud, and it is just one word: Jesus, 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 again and again and again. And hearing it is both refreshing and slightly, maybe offensive, maybe, I don't know the right word to describe what I felt when I heard the word. It was refreshing in the sense that you don't see that now. It's not what we have today. What I'm seeing, what God is showing me, this group that's massive, and they're chanting for Jesus. I know that this has political implications, and I know that whatever they were doing, they were victorious in that thing. And on the video, they were victorious. They were winning. But you'll know this based on the rest of the dream I tell you. And I noticed that it was Jesus's name, and I noticed it because I don't hear it now. So what I hear now, and I know I'm throwing myself in the same group, right? I'm in the time period that we're in now. Sorry, they're mowing outside. I hope I won't get too close to the windows. But in any event, I could hear their chant for Jesus, and it was clear, it was focused, it was the best that Christianity had to offer was Jesus. We don't have that today. Today, there's other things, right? We've lost our first love, and it doesn't really matter where you go, and if you look at, television preachers, their names, right? But they're not known for preaching Jesus. They're known for other things. If you go to churches, you don't really hear about Jesus, you hear about denomination. If you go to a teacher somewhere, you're going to be plied with all kinds of, hey, buy my latest book, come to my next conference, here's my swag, be sure to get your coaching session with me. Not a lot of Jesus. And like I said, I'm in the same group with everybody else. My time period, the time period we live in now, is not as Jesus focused as what's coming. Okay, that's all. That's the best way I can describe what I felt when I heard those words, and I just recognized it's different than it is today. Anyway, that's the best I could do with that. Sorry. After I heard that from the video they were watching, one of the men in this two group of men that are walking in front of me points to another man that's walking the opposite direction, a few paces to our side, right? Just walking on the ground in the other direction. And one of the men tells the other man, he's on the left and he's angry. And so I look at the individual who is in the left and who's angry. And you can tell just the way he walked, his demeanor was he was angry. In the dream, I immediately shifted from walking in the position that I'm walking behind these two gentlemen, and I start heading toward this person in the left. As I'm standing there, walking, coming up to the person, I start to jokingly, and not to stick them, but try to be friendly. I say, "Did you hear?" And I'm referring to this video. And he immediately says, "Yeah, but it's not what," and I'm like, "Yeah, it kind of is." And he's like, "All right, it kind of is." And he relaxes a bit and we start walking together. And as we're walking, I can't remember everything and I didn't see everything, but we start to have a conversation. And I know certain pieces of the conversation because I remember them. I saw them in the dream and I still recall them. In the first element that I remember speaking to the man, I said to him, "How can doing unto others as you'd have them done unto you be bad for a society?" And what I'm seeing in this dream is Jesus being applied in our, and I say our, I mean, I'm in America, in our government, right? His principles, his concepts, right? And the person that I was speaking to, I could tell that he was understanding me. He was open to it. He was receiving of what I was telling him. And I continued to walk with him. And at one point in this dream, as I'm walking with him, where I started to go up some stairs, metal graded stairs. And then there's like a platform and whatnot. And we go up some more stairs. And I'm talking to him. And I asked him, either, have you ever heard about Jesus? Have you ever considered God, And something to that effect. And the person was not telling me anything that I didn't feel like my testimony would be redundant. And so I felt like sharing my testimony would benefit the person. So I started to tell him how I came to know God, And after this, I asked him, "May I pray for you?" And as I was praying, I could hear myself in the dream. I remember what I was saying, at least a part of it. And in the dream, I said, "God, cause this man to know you are real." But in that moment that I said that, I was afraid that he would think I meant this to me now, in this moment in time. But I didn't mean that. I meant, as I continued to pray, I said, over time. Because I know for me, it took time. It took growth, maturity before I really gained the understanding that I have today. It wasn't in a moment in time, right? But as soon as I added that to the prayer, my heart smote me. I knew that I had offended God. I had done something wrong. And it was for my doubt that I had added that element in, because I didn't believe that God would do this thing in this very moment to make this person to, believe that he were real, right? So I immediately ended the prayer. I did not want to be in that situation, offending God any longer. After the prayer, I was walking slightly behind the other man. And like you might with a friend, I went to place my hands on the back of his shoulders, kind of pat him, And as I touched him, just barely touched him, we were walking and we were on this metal grate. The man was body slammed face first into the metal grate as power went from my hands into this man, and he just went wham, I mean, as hard as you could imagine. I literally expected when this man comes up, he's going to be bloody, how bad he hit that floor. The man immediately rose, turned around, and looked at me with this smile and this look in his eye that I knew that he knew I didn't do that. And that was the end of the dream. Now, let me tell you some bits and pieces about this dream. Because like I said, I don't know a lot about the interpretation of this dream. I can just tell you some bits and pieces. I know that the Jesus chanting that was going on has to do with political movement, and Jesus is the forefront and the center of it. I know that we have kind of got off in our society, and probably other societies too, but in the United States, we think the United States is important, and we're big and you know, forever, you know, kind of thing. But that's not true, because you know, the kingdoms of men, they end up getting smote, right? And the wind blows them all away. The only thing that are good about the United States of America is the things that line up with God's word. Jesus is truth, okay? Yeah, he's also a character in the Bible, right, who lived a life and so forth and so on, but he's also truth. And so there's no real separation of church and state. That's kind of silly. If Jesus is truth and you're like, well, we're separate from that. Well, do you really want a government that's separate from truth? No, you probably don't. So, you know, having more of Jesus in our government is just an awesome thing. To see, you know, people write laws that they themselves want to live under, not just laws for you and then I'll live under something else. You know, that's what we need. We need more of that. And so the fact that I'm seeing that God's showing me Jesus as being a major focal point that will usurp the left, that's what this dream is showing. And more than that, it will also create an opportunity and a softening of the heart of the left, to where you will be able to go and witness to them and they will be open to hearing it. And more so than that, and I think, you know, I need to humble myself in this area, is, you know, a lot of people on the right and in church, we trash talk the left. That doesn't win anybody, you know, and it doesn't save anybody. But in this moment, I was speaking to him as friendly, as we were just friends. And I was communicating with him, trying to make him understand wisdom and what Jesus really meant when he said certain things. And that God is real, and I can testify to that because of my own personal experience. And that God is loving and powerful, and he bestows that on man. And in that moment, you see in this dream where God hits him with that power, I had no idea God was going to do that. God just did it. And in fact, in my own life, I have never seen that, right? In this dream, I saw it, but I have never seen the real deal in my entire life. Not that I could say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that was real. I've seen lots of people go through the motions. I've seen lots of people go through the motions of speaking in tongues. I've seen lots of people go through the motions of a lot of things, casting out devils and you know, praying for the sick. And everybody says they're powerful, but I don't see any power. So I'm not saying God doesn't do that. I know he does. What I'm saying is that we're about to see a change in our nation that's not about right and left, but about Jesus. And it's not about, you know, leaving another group behind and going in another direction. It's about saving the lost. And that's the focus. And there's going to be display of power to back it up. And that's all the insight that I have. I can't tell you when it's going to be. I can't tell you where its borders will be. So like, I saw it and I know it's going to be in this nation, but I don't know that it stops in this nation. But it does give me hope for our nation and the world, because I see that something's coming that's better than what we have today. God's already shown me in the future is brighter than it is now, you know. and that encourages me for a lot of things that God's calling me to go do are into dark places, you know, and for the Lord to share this with me, it encourages me and it gives me hope. And I wanted to share that with you. Like I said, if you have any insight, you feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear it. And again, I want to thank you guys for your support on this channel. Just showing your, sharing the video or subscribing makes a world of difference. I got back on the YouTube partner program, so my videos actually now get little ads run before them or whatever, and then I get a piece of that ad revenue, and it makes a difference to me. So just want to say thank you very much. God bless. Take care. See you in the next one.